Hey, welcome back. We've got Matt Cimarrano joining us today with Aero Exterminators, and let's get those pesky mosquitoes out of our backyard and front yard and side yard. Get them out of here.
That's what we're here for.
Good seeing you, Matt.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me back.
So simple, proactive measures of keeping those mosquitoes out of the yard.
Definitely. One of the biggest things we see, everybody knows that mosquitoes can thrive in just a thimbleful of water. One of the biggest things I see when I go into backyards to do a mosquito evaluation is standing water. It could be bird baths, tires, anything that's going to hold water, wheelbarrows that aren't flipped over on their back. Yeah. One of the challenges we have in my house is kids' toys. My little boy loves spreading toys out through the yard, and they all have plastic bottoms that'll hold water. Anything you can do to keep that standing water down will stop the mosquitoes from wanting to breed in those areas.
I remember a couple of years ago you brought in just a bottle cap, and you told me that I mean this is a breeding ground for mosquitoes, and a bunch of them with just this bottle cap.
That's all it takes. The female mosquito will lay what we call a raft on top of the water, and it only takes a couple of days for them to develop into larvae, and next thing you know, you've got mosquitoes taking up the backyard.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned bird bath. I mean, a lot of us have bird baths.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I've got one in my house.
So we keep them full. I mean, so we can do everything else, but what if we don't want to get rid of the water in the bird bath?
You want to stay on top of it, not only for the bird sanitation, but just to keep the mosquitoes from developing in there. What I do is when it's time to water the garden, the bird bath is near the garden, so we just replenish the water in there. I'll knock it over. If we're going to go out of town for a period of time, we'll just dip it over and leave it empty. Okay. You want to keep it clean, though, like I said, for the birds and for the mosquitoes.
Sure. When you guys spray, you spray at my parents' house.
Yep.
And what is that spray doing? Is it killing the eggs, or is it killing? How does that work?
So it kills the female mosquitoes. The females are the ones that host off of us, and they use the blood meal as a protein to create eggs. So when we treat, we get that product up underneath the vegetation where the mosquitoes harbor during the day. It's going to be cool and damp in there, a good environment for them, and that's a contact insecticide. So they'll come in contact with that product and they'll die on the spot. Okay. It gives us a good long-lasting residual. Usually every 30 days it needs to be reapplied, but we'll do that. And then anywhere where water can stand, like bird baths and areas like that, where you can't replenish the water periodically, we'll put a granular product in there that stops the mosquito larvae from developing into a full-fledged adult.
Interesting.
Yep.
Is it just me, Matt, or the mosquitoes at my house, they aim right at my ankles. And my ankles are always itching.
Every house has got that one person that just gets tore up by mosquitoes. Right. I hear it every single day. My husband has no problems with it, but they just eat me alive. And it just is what it is when it comes to mosquitoes. Yeah. If you're not doing a service, I definitely recommend one, though.
Okay. All righty. The steps when it comes to the total protection system, what's that all about?
STEPS is our local protection program. It's called Sustainability Through Environmental Practices and Solutions. And that's a cumulative program where you have termite control, pest control, and mosquito control. We control the termites to protect the investment of your home. Pest control, of course, nobody wants creepy crawlies walking across the floor in the kitchen. Yeah. And then the mosquito control lets you take your backyard back, lets the kids go outside and play when you have a family is over and things like that.
Okay, alrighty. And it's so important, you may have mentioned this, but to keep our windows, the screens on our windows, to make sure those mosquitoes don't get in.
There's nothing worse than mosquitoes inside the house, and there's not a lot we can do to control them once they get inside. So having good screens in place, keeping windows and doors shut if they're not screened is really important.
Yeah. And if there's any kind of moisture, they'll lay eggs in the house.
They'll lay eggs right inside the house.
You don't want that going like this, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Matt, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Aero Exterminators, commercial and residential. Here's their telephone number, aeroexterminators.com for more info. Are you ready to buy a house?